How I finally grew out my hair. Not just grow my hair in, healthy, strong, thick hair. This is definitely my most requested video ever. I started filming this video 1 year ago. I wanted to grow my hair long, but there were quite a few issues. My hair was extremely damaged and it literally felt like it stopped growing. It was just stuck at one length. I couldn't get it to grow. Even if I cut off the split ends, it would grow out back to that same exact length, like right here, and it wouldn't grow past that. This is the length that I started out with when I decided to start filming this video in August. That length being at 16 to 17 inches. This is my hair throughout 2023, in the beginning of 2023, so you can just see the length, health, thickness difference. And this is my hair right now. We're gonna measure it right now because I don't know the exact measurement. Coming at you, 25 inches. That is almost 10 inches of length, and I have cut off 6 to 7 inches throughout this year. My hair was at a stagnant length for 2 years straight, and I could not get it to grow. And I have already gotten so many comments when I talk about hair growth. Your hair has grown the normal amount. The normal amount grown in a year is like 6 inches. I'm gonna break down every single thing that I have learned past this year to grow my hair out to this. I was gonna wait for 2 years because my goal is to get my hair down to my hips, but obviously we can see it's working and I got my hair to grow. First, before we get into it, a few disclaimers. I'm not a professional. I'm just a girl who's obsessed with hair care. Hair care, skincare, nails, beauty in general really interests me, and not only that, but like the science behind it. But I will say, trying to find actual factual science-backed information is really difficult these days. I'm finding out things that I thought were real weren't real, and there's new science coming out. I just wanted to say in the beginning of this video that I can totally be wrong, and definitely do your own research on everything. A lot of this is my personal experience, but I will say I share majority of these hair tips on TikTok, and I get DMs on the daily of people telling me that their hair is finally growing, it's growing in thicker, it's healthier. I wish I had a video like this a year and a half ago when I was trying to grow out my hair and I couldn't figure it out. If you have any medical conditions or scalp conditions like dermatitis or plaque psoriasis, what I talk about in this video might not help you and actually make it worse. Definitely go to a dermatologist or a trichologist. And if you don't know what a trichologist is, it's pretty much a dermatologist, but just for the hair and the scalp. So that's like their specialty. So they really know what they're talking about. I almost started the school to become a licensed trichologist, but it is just so much time you have to put into it. Don't have that much time. And hair care, skincare, nails, it is a hobby for me. If I ever were to do anything more professional with it, like create my own brand, then I would get my license. But for right now, I like hair care. Every single time I see someone make a video about growing in their hair healthier and thicker, the whole entire comment section is, it's just genetics. And trust me, I get it, because it can be super frustrating when you're trying all these things and nothing's working. I do have good hair genetically. I'm not gonna lie. I'm saying it in the beginning of this video, but there was a hiccup when I was about 19, 20 where I started losing some hair, which can be caused literally by so many things like stress, and then 3 months later your hair can just start growing back in again. A lot of hair loss kind of fixes itself on its own. But then I did ignore it, and then I bleached the shit out of my hair and dyed it like 10 to 12 times within just a few months. My hair was going through it. My hair can take a lot of bleach, but she was struggling, she was breaking. I had to cut it shorter and shorter and shorter. That pretty much opened the door to my obsession with hair care, because I started to learn how to put the protein back into your hair and fix bleached hair and make it healthier and all this stuff. So that's kind of what started my hair care journey. Yes, I have good hair genetically, but my hair strands are stronger. Like, my hair texture has literally changed a little bit, and my hair is thicker. And when my hair was at its longest a long time ago, my ends were really thin. It like went into a V because of all the breakage. And now my ends are super duper thick and healthy because I know how to take care of the lengths of my hair, which I'm gonna be telling you guys about. Last disclaimer, nothing can grow your hair faster. Nothing can grow your hair faster.
Except pregnancy.
If you're watching this because you just got a really shitty haircut, or you felt impulsive and you cut your hair all the way up to here because bobs are super trendy right now and you miss your long hair, you cannot grow your hair faster. And I am going to be the person to tell you that because there's so many people online that lie. If someone says, oh my gosh, this made my hair grow so much faster, they were doing a bunch of things before that was making their hair grow slower, that they probably fixed, or they were doing something that combated that. There's so many things that can slow hair growth down. If you fix those things, then your hair is going to be growing at its normal rate. And you're like, Kaylee, well technically it was growing faster than it was when it was growing slow. Yes, but you cannot grow your hair faster than its normal rate. And the reason why I stress this is if I made a video telling you, do scalp massages, do oiling, it'll grow your hair faster. If a person with their hair growing at their natural rate watch that and they do those things, their hair isn't gonna grow faster. It can be a little confusing. I'm gonna be going over scalp health, diet, length protection, eliminating hair growth stunters, and lifestyle habits. I literally all of this shit down so we could be a little bit more organized. We're gonna first start out with diet. Diet affects hair, skin, obviously your body so much. The saying you are what you eat is a saying for a reason. I also just want to say I took 0 supplements. 0. No hair gummies, none of it. A lot of people think those are like super magical and they grow your hair super quick and fast. If a supplement or a hair gummy even markets itself as grows hair faster, I honestly don't even know how they don't get sued for that because it's impossible. You should know right then and there that it's scammy, and you could also just get those vitamins that's in it for so much cheaper and just take those. You also need to know your vitals to know what vitamins to take. And anyways, we're gonna get more into vitamins and stuff later, but I just want to start out by saying, because it's kind of part of the diet, that I took 0 supplements. Instead of taking supplements, I incorporated foods into my diet that were healthy fats and vitamin-rich foods. Just to name a few: salmon, avocado, nuts, berries, sweet potatoes, eggs, and spinach are really good to incorporate into your diet if you want your hair to grow in a little bit better. Protein is so important, obviously for the a million other reasons why it's important for the rest of our body, but for hair, it is extremely important. Obviously, how much protein to consume is literally different for every single person depending on your weight. You can also look into incorporating foods that block DHT. And DHT is basically a hormone that is produced that can cause hair loss. For example, I include pumpkin seeds. I'll just take a little handful and eat them every single day, and they block DHT. Foods to avoid, and when I say avoid, I mean balance. I'm not telling you to cut things completely out of your diet, but dairy, foods with like a lot of added sugars in them, super greasy food like eating fast food all the time. These foods don't directly cause slow hair growth or hair loss, but the effects they have on the body cause slow hair growth and hair loss. It's like an indirect cause that could be causing an issue with your hair. Taking supplements, vitamins, I feel like it's way more normalized in America, and this is just what I have noticed when I've heard other people in other countries come to America and they walk into a Target or a grocery store and they see the whole aisle of just vitamins and supplements. They think it's like the weirdest thing ever. I mean, the sad reality is a lot of our foods literally don't have as many nutrients and vitamins in them as much as they did literally like 5 years ago. Even if you're trying to eat healthy, something could be deficient somewhere, you know? But what I don't understand, and it's a very normal thing, is to just blindly take supplements. Don't blindly take supplements without knowing what you're deficient in. If you're not taking enough, it's not gonna do anything, and you're gonna be like, well, this didn't do shit. Or if you take too much, it can cause negative side effects. So get your vitals checked. Obviously, I know it's hard to get yourself to the doctor sometimes to go and get your vitals checked. I'm not saying that that's like easy. I haven't been to the doctor since I was like 17. I'm not saying that hair gummies don't necessarily work, but it's too wishy-washy. You're taking these vitamins blindly, not even knowing how much of each vitamin that's in the gummy. And if you took the hair gummies and they worked and you're like, oh my gosh, my hair feels feels more moisturized and it's growing in thicker, and it's because vitamins that are in those you were deficient in. It's too wishy-washy for my liking, so I personally just don't take them. Just because I haven't taken supplements or vitamins doesn't mean I haven't done research on them. Omega-3, aka fish oil, can reduce inflammation, so if you have like a super itchy scalp and you're having scalp issues, and can hydrate the hair follicles. If you have a vitamin D deficiency, it can cause hair loss, so if you take vitamin D, if you have a deficiency, it can help your hair. Zinc, selenium, copper strengthen hair strands. Folic acid and biotin support cell renewal and stronger hair strands, and vitamin C protects the hair cells from damage and can support collagen production. So instead of taking supplements and vitamins in a pill form, I just incorporated all of those foods that I already listed, because all of those foods include all of those vitamins that I just listed. This can definitely be one of the harder things to fix if this is like your only issue in your hair growing in maybe thinner or taking forever to grow, but slowly incorporating some of these foods, like having salmon for dinner one night a week, you will slowly start to see the difference in your new hair growth. Moving on to hair growth stunters and causes of hair loss. Not washing your hair enough, aka hair training. I totally believed that hair training worked for like 1 to 2 years of my life. I was so in denial about it. I was like, no, it's working. If you don't know what hair training is, basically going longer in between washing your hair and having dirty hair, making your hair not produce as much oil and sebum so your hair doesn't get oily as quick. There is no science or reliable science that I have personally found to back this up. I did this for like 1 to 2 years. It didn't work. So basically what it did was it clogged my hair follicle. All of that oil, dirt, product buildup sitting on your scalp for like 5 to 7 days, making my hair literally not grow. And I knew it wasn't growing because during this time I did have dyed hair and I didn't have any roots. So I knew my hair was growing super slow because the roots were just like barely coming in, way slower than before. I was losing so much more hair than normal. My ends were super dry. That's basically all I got from hair training. Every single time I have said, and when I see other people say hair training is fake, people go ballistic. And their first rebuttal is, no, the oil that comes out of your scalp is good for your scalp and your hair because it's moisturizing it. I totally understand that. That's what I thought as well. One, oil doesn't necessarily moisturize in the way that like people thinks it does. It like locks in moisture and it's moisturizing for 3 to 4 hours, and then after that it's basically clogging the follicle up. And when people promote hair training and teach how to hair train, they usually say like wash your hair once a week or try and go longer between your washes, add an extra day in. Wash your hair when it gets oily. Also, this is very different for different hair types, different hair textures. Someone with 4C hair isn't gonna wash their hair every single day or every other day, and isn't gonna have the same exact hair wash timeline as someone with my hair or straighter hair. You know what I mean. How often should you wash your hair? That is different for every single person on the face of the planet. If your hair doesn't get oily like 5 to 7 days after you wash your hair, don't wash your hair. You don't need to. If your hair gets oily the day after you just washed your hair, wash your hair again. Never let, I know I just told you, but like never let a person on the internet tell you, you have to wash your hair every 2 days. You have to wash your hair once a week. It is different for everybody. And I cannot stress that enough. You have to listen to your own body and do what you need. It's different for me every single week. It's different if I'm on my period. I get really, really oily the week before my period and on my period because for some reason the hormones that I'm producing make my hair way oilier. If I eat more fast food than normal or just like greasy food, my hair gets oilier. Sometimes in the summer my hair will get oilier, other times it'll last like 4 days. I wash my hair pretty much every 2 days at this point. My hair does get pretty oily. Later we're going to talk about oil treatments, and I do 1 to 3 of those a week, so I kind of have to wash my hair that many times in a week already. I also just like my hair to be clean and feel nice and look nice, and I'm not gonna have my hair looking like shit for a whole week because I'm trying to grow in better hair. That doesn't make sense. I want to enjoy enjoy my hair, you know? And obviously we just talked about diet, but in this section also a hair stunter, things that can cause hair loss, can be poor diet. Now, the one that most people are not gonna like is not sleeping enough. So think of it like when you sleep, your whole entire body is resetting. Your body is not properly repairing and regenerating, like all the things that it needs to do. If you're not sleeping enough, it can weaken your hair follicle. And this is like if you're consistently not getting enough sleep, not if you just like get 4 hours one day and you're like, oh no, my hair's gonna fall out. No, this is like consistently every single day for months at a time if you're not sleeping enough. It can push premature follicles into the exogen phase. We're gonna be talking about the phases of hair, but the exogen phase is when it comes out of your head, the shedding phase. So by pushing out premature hairs, one, that can cause hair loss, and two, it's gonna seem like your hair isn't growing because it's making your hair fall out. Not getting enough sleep can definitely mess with your hormone levels. And the super fun one is that it can raise your cortisol levels, which can lead to a bunch of health issues, but it can interfere with how fast your hair is growing in. And then last, less sleep equals less blood circulation, and blood circulation is so important for growing in healthy, strong hair and growing your hair in at its natural rate, because it helps give your hair follicles oxygen and nutrients. And obviously if you're not getting as much circulation from less sleep, you are depriving the hair follicle of those things. A few lifestyle habits that I've incorporated into my life are getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep as a woman, because we need different sleep than men, especially on our period. When I'm on my period, I try to get 10 hours of sleep. If I don't get 10 hours of sleep, I'm literally dead throughout the day. 1 to 3 p.m. hits and I am so drowsy. I cannot focus on anything. I can't get anything done, usually leading to me drinking caffeine, and then I stay up later. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep is the best. Exercising. The thing with exercising though is exercise can be super amazing for hair growth, because obviously you're creating all of this blood circulation on your whole body, and like we just talked about, blood circulation, real good for hair growth. But sometimes exercise can worsen hair growth. Like if you're doing super high intensity workouts and raising certain stress hormones like cortisol, that can cause slower hair growth. Take this one lightly though. This is more of a rarer cause of hair loss and slow hair growth. I'm only putting this in here because I want to put literally everything in here. Even if there's only one person watching this that has this issue, I want it all to be in this video. But yeah, exercise, you're fine. Now we're gonna get into the fun stuff. So scalp health. Scalp health is very important. It is where your hairs are growing in from. You need to take care of it. And I'm not saying you need like a 20-step hair care routine. I could bet a bunch of people watching this could incorporate some of the tips I'm going to say into their routine that could make their products that they already have more efficient and make your overall scalp and hair better. One, I already talked about it, avoid hair training. Wash your hair when it gets oily. Properly cleanse your scalp. I have my whole hair care routine already posted. I am gonna take you through how I cleanse my hair and do certain things, but if you want like my exact whole hair care routine, that is in a different video. These are my two holy grail shampoo and conditioners. Cleanse the scalp really well, but don't strip out the lengths of my hair. And this is one of the best drugstore shampoo and conditioners that I have tried. I get my hair wet with warm water. When cleansing the hair, I use warm water. It kind of helps just open everything up so the shampoo can really get in there and get everything clean. I take my shampoo and I only wash my roots. I'm going to scrub that in, and then I'm going to shampoo my hair again. Now, you do not need to do this with every single shampoo. It really does depend on how the shampoo is formulated. It is a personal preference, but my scalp and my hair feel more clean when I do a double cleanse. And the reason why I'm only washing out my roots is when you rinse out that shampoo that is going down the shaft of the hair is cleansing it enough. Now, there is a point in time when you do need to actually wash the lengths of your hair. Use this Redken clarifying shampoo. It is like the best one that I have found. It can be really drying though, so you really only want to use this like 1 to 2 times a month. And it gets rid of all of the buildup, because if you have a bunch of buildup on your scalp from products or oil or anything like that, that can cause your hair to grow slower. You want to keep your scalp exfoliated. Your scalp is skin, so if you think about it like on your face, when your face hasn't been exfoliated in a while and it's super rough right here and your pores are super clogged, that can happen to the follicles of hair where they just get super clogged up, and there can be a lot of dead skin, layers layering on top of it. Every single time I wash my hair, I just take a little scalp massager and I scrub my second shampoo into my scalp. Not too crazy. If you need like a really like good exfoliation though, like you have flakes coming off of your scalp and stuff, my boyfriend had this and I literally cleared it up for him with this product from Inculus. It's a salicylic acid scalp treatment. You literally just put it all over your scalp, rub it in, leave it on for 10 minutes and wash your hair. Scalp massages. If you're into hair care, if you watch a lot of hair care content, you have definitely seen that people say scalp massages make your hair grow faster. Remember what I said though? It doesn't technically make your hair grow faster. It can help it grow at its normal rate, which technically is faster, but if your hair is already growing at its normal rate, then it's not gonna make it grow faster. Doing scalp massages is really good. It promotes a lot of circulation, aka adding oxygen to the hair follicle. It can help your hair grow in stronger, so those hair strands are more durable and they're not as prone to breaking off. Where to start with scalp massaging? How long do you do it for? What do you do it with? You can just start with your fingers. You just place your fingers on your scalp and you move the skin on the scalp. You don't want to like go like this, you want to move like this. You can get a scalp massager. My personal favorite is going in with a bamboo brush. Going in with a bamboo brush really gets your scalp tingling. You want your scalp to be tingling after. The goal with scalp massaging is to get up to doing it for 10 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm usually pretty lazy and only do about 3 to 5 minutes. Put the TV on, lay in bed, lay on your couch and just like give yourself a little massage, you know? I like to do it in the mornings and before I go to bed. And now for the big one, hair oiling. I have been hair oiling for 3 years. It seriously has transformed my hair. My hair strands are a different texture. Individual strands are literally thicker and so much stronger. There is a lot of misconceptions on the internet about hair oiling. The biggest misconception with scalp oiling is that it makes your hair grow faster. It helps grow in healthier, stronger strands of hair and helps the overall density of your hair. So it doesn't grow your hair faster. That period of time where my hair didn't grow like at all for 2 years, I was hair oiling the entire time while doing that. I'm gonna be showing you my whole hair oiling routine with all the do's and don'ts. I first start out by going 3 to 5 minutes on my scalp with my bamboo brush. Then I'm going to take rosemary oil. This is my favorite hair oil to go in with. There was this study done with alopecia patients comparing rosemary and minoxidil, but I've also heard a lot of other people who are chemists say that this study is a little spotty, so take that with a grain of salt. Before we go on, you need to listen to these directions very, very closely because there are a lot of things that you can do wrong when hair oiling and it can seem very overwhelming, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. It falls directly into your routine. Do not go in with essential oil. I'm gonna put all of my favorite hair oils up on the screen. All the ones I'm showing are already diluted with carrier oils, and carrier oils are pretty much an oil to dilute rosemary. So you can make your own rosemary oil at home with essential oil, but you have to mix the essential oil with a carrier oil, and these are my favorite carrier oils. You need to find the hair oil for your specific scalp and hair type. If you have really thin, fine hair and maybe you're suffering from hair loss, I would probably use a lighter oil. If you go in with a super heavy, thick oil, that might cause hair loss. If you have thicker, coarser hair, you can get away with using a thicker oil. I'm gonna put all of the hair oils that I just showed on the screen from thinnest to thickest. I part my hair, I drop 3 drops of oil in that part, I move over 1 inch, do the same exact thing, and I do that all over my head. In the back, I kind of just take the syringe and squeeze the oil out evenly back there. Rosemary oil and a lot that are used for the scalp are actually antimicrobial and antibacterial, so don't be afraid of putting the dropper on your head and like it going back in the bottle. It's really not that big of a deal. The dropper fills up like halfway, so I do like 2 of these on my scalp. You do not want to go in with like an excess amount of oil. Less is definitely more. I can see how thinking putting more will make it work better, but that is not the case. It actually will clog the hair follicle, and you don't really need to go in with that much. It's a waste of money, a waste of product, and a waste of time. I always add a little bit extra to my hairline because those face framing pieces are way more fragile than pretty much all other hair on your head, and I'm going to now massage my scalp for another 3 to 5 minutes. For my mids and ends, I don't go in with rosemary oil. My favorite to go in with is argan oil. Argan oil on my hair like this. It just makes my hair feel really nice. I take this much, not a super crazy amount, put that all over my hair. A few do nots when you have a hair oil mask in. Don't be super rough with your hair. Avoid brushing your hair. When having an oil mask in, your hair is kind of similar to being wet, so your hair is a little bit more on the fragile side. good. If you do brush it to get tangles out, just be super gentle with it. Do not put your hair in a tight hairstyle. I see a lot of people do an oil mask and then they put their hair in super tight, sleek ponytails and tight buns. If you're going to do that, you really need to make sure they're loose. You don't want any tension on the scalp, and you don't want any of your hairs to be getting like pulled and stuff, because like I said, the hair is in a super fragile state. My go-to is a Dutch braid. Braids are an amazing protective hairstyle, and since I don't want it on my back, I fold it up and put it in a claw clip, and then you have this like super cute hairstyle. Like I could low-key go out and run errands and my hair looks cute. Do not leave an oil mask in overnight. I know it can seem super convenient. It's like, oh, I just do it right before bed and then wake up. The cons definitely outweigh the pros. That sweet spot is 3 to 4 hours. Always double shampoo after an oil mask. I always double cleanse, but if you don't and you're doing an oil mask, you need to double cleanse. If you shampoo your roots twice and when you get out of the shower, your ends feel super weighed down and your roots are still oily, that means you put too much hair oil in. I do an oil mask 1 to 3 times a week. I try to get 3 in there, but I always at minimum get 1 in. You do not want to do more than 3 times a week. I know it can seem more effective, like, oh, I'm gonna do it every single day. Don't do that. That is going to cause hair loss. And if you are just starting out and you have maybe finer hair, or you're dealing with hair loss or something like that, definitely start out with 1 day and work your way up to doing it 3 days a week, because just full-blown starting at 3 days a week might be like a little much for your scalp. Another hair do not that I just want to add in, because I feel like a lot of people don't know this, you never ever want to apply a hair oil mask when you have dry shampoo in your hair. You're literally not getting any of the benefits from the hair oil mask, and it is just clogging everything up because that dry shampoo is in the way. After you start hair oiling, you might realize that some of your hair seems to be coming out more than normal. Hair shedding after hair oiling or doing scalp massages is completely normal. A lot of the hairs that are at the end of the telogen phase, entering the exogen phase, are just kind of sitting in your scalp. Once you start doing all of this stimulation, it's going to obviously make those come out and seem like so much of your hair is coming out, but it's really not. This is how much hair I lose just when washing my hair. Every single time I wash my hair. It's pretty easy to tell the difference between hair shedding and hair loss. Hair shedding is just more hairs overall coming out a little more than normal. Not too crazy. And a lot of times with hair loss, it's usually coming from one specific spot. It takes 3 to 6 months to see results from hair oiling. My hair felt more moisturized kind of instantly and wasn't getting stripped by shampoo as much. I didn't see any actual difference in my hair growth until around 3, 4, 5-ish months, when my hair was actually starting to grow in and I could tell that the texture was like a little bit thicker and different. It's definitely something you have to be patient for. I saved the best for last, and that is length protection. Many people might disagree, but I literally feel like length protection is low-key more important than like doing oiling and stuff. My main goal when growing out my hair this time is to have thick ends, because throughout my whole life I never had thick ends. I had long hair, it was on the thicker side, but my ends were always so thin and straggly. I feel like a lot of you guys have probably heard cutting your ends makes your hair grow faster. That isn't necessarily true. Cutting down here isn't gonna affect your scalp. If you are growing out your hair, the only time you need to cut your ends is when you have split ends. If you're watching this trying to grow out your hair and you don't have any split ends, you don't need to cut your hair. So obviously when I started this hair journey, I had a lot of leftover bleach damage, and sadly when you do have bleach and heat damage, you're gonna need to cut the hair off because it's going to split. The reason why you need to cut split ends off is you cannot repair them. There's no product that can completely repair a split end. Yes, there are some that can kind of make them hold on a little bit longer and seal them, but it's not fixing them. The only way to get rid of them is to cut them off, and if you don't cut them off, they're going to just keep riding up and up and up the hair shaft and break off, and then it causes a bunch of weak, broken off hair. So no, cutting your ends doesn't make your hair grow faster, but if you have split ends that are making your hair break off as your hair is growing in, it can make it seem like your hair is not growing. So by cutting those split ends off, it can help you grow your hair out. How often should you cut your hair? That is different for literally everybody. It depends on the state of your hair, it depends on your hair type. So my natural hair, sadly, has always been very prone to split end. When it was completely virgin hair, hair, no heat used on it ever. So my bleached hair is a million times worse. A portion of this hair is my previously bleached hair, and then the rest is my natural virgin hair grown back in. If you are consistently bleaching your hair or using heat on your hair multiple times a week, I would suggest every 4 to 6 weeks. Bleached hair is so high maintenance, and that's one of the main reasons why I just wanted to completely stop doing it, because no matter how much hair care you're doing, you do need to go and get your hair cut all the time. You need to get your root touched up. Me personally, I knew I wanted my natural hair color to grow out, and I wanted it to be long. 1 year exactly in the beginning of August, I decided to cut 4 inches off of my hair. Sometimes it's more effective to do a bigger chop rather than just getting an inch off every single time. If I were to have gotten a dusting, I would have had to go back literally in a month to get another dusting. So in like January, February-ish, so 6 months later, I did get another haircut, and it was about like 2-ish inches. The other reason why I did the 4-inch chop and another like 2 inches is I'm trying to get rid of my layers. I just want face framing layers, and I want it to be a straight cut at the bottom because it makes your hair look so much thicker. The sad reality with layers is if you get split ends with layers, you have to keep recutting the layers. So it's really hard to get rid of the layers without doing like a big chop. And I had literally like 4-inch layers in the back of my head because I wanted crazy layers for blowouts and stuff. I had split ends everywhere super high up as well because of the layers. So think about that before you get layers. One super fun thing that I learned about this past year was terminal length. And if you're watching this, your hair is growing out of your scalp. Like say you bleach your hair and you have roots, but your hair is still at one length. You don't have breakage, you don't have that crazy amount of split ends that's riding up, but your hair is just staying at one damn length. I could not figure out why my hair wasn't getting longer. Terminal length is the maximum length of hair that your hair can grow, basically. And it's different for everybody. Genetics obviously plays a huge role. It can be from 12 to 42 inches. This has to do with your hair's cycle. It has 4 cycles. There's first the anagen phase, which can last up to 2 to 8 years, and that is when your hair is basically growing in. There's the catagen phase, which is the transition phase, which is 2 to 4 weeks, and then the telogen phase, which is the resting phase, which can last up to 2 to 4 months. And then of course the exogen phase, aka the shedding phase, where it's just coming out of your head. So the reason why this video is so long-winded and I wanted to put all of this information in here is because a lot of the things that I was talking about that stunt hair growth and make your hair grow in slower are obviously affecting the anagen phase of hair when your hair is growing in. If you're doing things that are negatively impacting that, that can make those hairs prematurely fall out. So if your hairs are falling out constantly way sooner than they're supposed to fall out, your hair is going to stop at a certain length. But if you eliminate those things that are slowing down the hair growth and messing with the anagen phase, you can make your hair get longer and make your strands last up to 8 years without falling out. Something that can also be happening is the ends of your hair. You look at them, there's no split ends. Your hair's growing in from your roots, but it's not getting any longer. If you're not properly taking care of the lengths of your hair, the very end of your hair strand is literally like turning to dust when it hits that maximum length. So you can't see breakage, you can't see a split end, it's just stopping there. And a few months back, my hair stopped right here and I like could not get it to grow past that point. And that's when I came across this. And that is when I really started protecting the lengths of my hair, and that is when my hair started growing in the best that it has this last year. How I avoid that is leave-in conditioner and oiling my ends. After I shampoo and condition my hair, I always put leave-in conditioner on my ends. It keeps them moisturized. A lot of people always ask, like, is leave-in conditioner really necessary? Yes it is. Conditioner and leave-in conditioner are 2 separate things. Conditioner is basically trying to put the moisture back in that was taken out by the shampoo. Leave-in conditioner is adding that extra moisture that your hair needs from that point on. You want to keep your hair moisturized so it has more elasticity. It's really important that your hair has elasticity. Obviously not like super stretchy like when you bleach the shit out of your hair and your hair is stretching, but your hair should have like the tiniest little stretch to it. If it doesn't have elasticity, it's going to be dry, and when your hair is super dry, it's brittle and completely just breaks off. Leave-in conditioner really was a game changer. This is the one that I use. I've been using this one for a fat minute. Most leave-in conditioners are also detanglers. It makes it way easy to detangle your hair when wet, leading to less pulling and tugging on the wet hair, leading to less breakage. My hair is naturally wavy. Say I wash my hair on this day, it's the next day. I don't need to wash my hair, but my ends are super dry. I could put oil in them, but oil isn't technically moisturizing the hair. So what I do is I get a spray bottle and I spray my ends and I put leave-in conditioner in them on on the daily and just let it air dry, and this has cured my dry ends, because this has been one of those things for so long where I'm like, I'm just always gonna have dry ends no matter what. That was a big thing that was causing me so much breakage. After leave-in conditioner, I always add a hair oil to my mids and ends, and I always add a few drops of hair oil to my mids and ends on the daily on my dry hair. These are my favorite hair oils. So think about it as it's putting a protective coating on the outer layer of your hair strand. And it helps lock in that moisture from that leave-in conditioner so it stays moisturized, feeling and looking for so much longer. Those two things alone have made my ends so much healthier, and this is probably one of the biggest parts in this video. When your hair does start to get longer, or even if it's literally just past your shoulders, there are a lot of things in our day-to-day that can cause breakage. So listing a few things that I have done to avoid breakage on my ends. I try my hardest to not go to bed with wet hair. If you do it every once in a while, it's not the end of the world, but if you're doing it consistently, one, it's really not good for your scalp. You can literally get like a yeast infection on your scalp. Being wet for that long isn't good. For me, when I go to bed with my hair wet, I literally wake up with my hair wet because for some reason it doesn't dry in the middle of the night. And when your hair is wet for longer than like 3 to 4 hours, it can damage the cortex of the hair, causing the hair to become very brittle, and that can cause breakage. Rolling around when you're sleeping with wet hair causes breakage. I stopped bleaching my hair. I stopped dyeing it, all of that. You can definitely still have long, healthy hair while bleaching and dyeing it, but you just need to really take extra care of it, getting those trimmed, but it's gonna be way harder to preserve that health. Limit the use of heating tools, and if you do use heating tools, always use heat protectant. I do not use heat on my hair more than once a week now. I am honestly down to once every 2 weeks. It's not the worst thing ever to use heat on your hair when you have heat protectant on, but you are damaging your hair more than if you were to not use heat. Like, there's still always gonna be a little bit of damage. So I've just tried to limit it as much as possible. And one of the main ways that I've limited it is by doing heatless curls. I do heatless curls probably 3 to 5 times a week. Once you get heatless curls down, it is amazing. You take 10 minutes before bed to put it in, and you wake up and it takes 2 seconds to take out, and you have gorgeous hair. Limit tight hairstyles. This is different for everybody. Like, obviously Black people have way different hair than moi, and they can have braids and certain stuff like that. So obviously this isn't for everybody, but if you have hair like me, doing tight hairstyles consistently, like every single day, can literally cause alopecia. I limit those to once a week max. I kind of just try to stay away from them. So instead I try to do a lot of protective hairstyles. And my favorite is braids. I do a lot of Dutch braids. Probably every other day my hair is in a Dutch braid at some point in the day when I don't want my hair in my face. I sleep with a silk cap on. It's honestly just annoying to have my hair down. I will wake up with my hair like choking me. It's everywhere in my boyfriend's face. It's just, it gets tangled under the pillow and it's really annoying. So I always have a silk cap on. Putting your hair in one loose braid is amazing at nighttime to keep it protected. One thing that I think a lot of us forget that impacts our hair so much is just how we handle our hair. Brushing, for example, you want to start from the very ends gently and go all the way up to the roots. If you just start at the roots and you're brushing and just raking it through hard, that's gonna cause a lot of breakage. And if you're trying to grow your hair out, you're gonna have a bunch of baby hairs everywhere and your ends are gonna be super thin. And since we're talking about brushing, I just want to comment on one thing about brushing your hair while wet. There's this huge thing on the internet where people say not to brush your hair while wet. Like, yes, we know our hair is very fragile, but like, that's impossible. Especially for curly and wavy girls. Like, I cannot not brush my hair while wet. My hair would be so tangled if I didn't do that, and it would be a mess. One thing that I do that makes it a lot easier is brushing my hair while I have conditioner or a hair mask in the shower with a detangler brush. This is the best detangler brush on the face of the planet. I used to use Tangle Teaser. That one is also good. Like, if you have that one, you don't need to go buy this one, but I did want to test this one out because it went viral on TikTok, and I honestly thought it wasn't gonna be that good, and I have used it every single day since. When I detangle my hair with conditioner or a mask in, it really gives your hair that slip, and it just like detangles instantly. So when you get out of the shower, your hair is pretty much already detangled. And then last, a microfiber hair towel. These in specific are my favorite. They are from Amazon. Since my hair has gotten longer, I have needed a bigger towel, so these are really amazing. A normal towel can roughen up the cuticle on your hair and cause a lot of unnecessary frizz, damage, and twisting it up can cause breakage. And they're usually really heavy, so when you twist it up, it's pulling on your hair and causing breakage when it's wet. The microfiber towel prevents frizz frizz, prevents breakage, and the one thing I really like about them is they absorb water way better than like a normal towel. Another thing that you can use, which most people watching this probably already have at home, is a cotton t-shirt. For my wavy and curly girls, it really helps with frizz. This has been a very long journey. I said I was gonna grow long, thick, and healthy hair out, and I think I can confidently say I did that, and I wanted to put all of my tips in one video so it would be easy to find. The main thing that I want you to take away from this is the tips and the lifestyle habits and stuff, not products, because products aren't the most important thing in this video. Products you use on your hair are important, but all of those tips and lifestyle habits and all of that are way more important. Thank you to everyone that was super patient for this video to come out. I know it's taken me forever, but I wanted to actually get my hair long. All right, I love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
I don't know if you like the way I put my words together, but I need you to stick with me just like some birds of feathers, or like bricks of scale.